Welcome back, Fantasy Team Previews. Today we're looking at the Boston Bruins. So first up, let's take a look at how they've changed. You can see them over here. They are apparently 30th according to this 25-26 rank. This is based on the total combined rating of all of their top 12 forwards and their top 6D. So not very strong in terms of fantasy value, but they did improve 10.77 from last year, which is going to definitely help. Now, if we look at what happened last year, they were terrible. The worst Boston Bruins team that I've seen in probably 20 years, 76 points. They were not that far removed from 130 plus point season or 128, whatever it was that one year. And now they've fallen from grace. They're missing Bergeron, Krejci, and Chara, really, and also Jim Montgomery, if you look at him here, getting fired last season, but 27th in goals for, 26th in goals against. Really not great on either end. So when we look at what happened, they did improve, so that is good, but they're still not that great. Their team defense actually goes down just a touch, 45th percentile. When we take a look at the line combos, Geekie, Lindholm, Pastrnak, that's the line that's going to drive most of their offense. You've got Zacha, Middlestat, and Arvidsson. Zacha can also play center if they need him to, so maybe he falls into this 3C role. Tanner Jeannot, Fraser Minton, Matej Blumel, never heard of him. And then you've got Beecher, Corrali, Asimont. I doubt they give James Higgins a look, so this is probably what it looks like. Maybe one or two guys in the bottom six are a little bit different. D pairs, Lindholm and McAvoy should both be healthy. That should definitely help their defense. Then you've got Zadorov, Yoki Haru, and then Mason Lohrei and Andrew Peeke. If they can use Lohrei on the right side, maybe they do that, but this is how it shakes out according to Daily Faceoff at the time of recording this video. As we scroll down, here's their team defense percentile. They still have a pretty good defensive core. They have Jeremy Swayman, so we'll get to him in just a second. In terms of additions and subtractions, you've got Arvidsson coming in, Jeannot, Steves, Asimont, Corrali, and Yoki Haru. Some depth, adding some bottom six guys and some D to kind of round out their 6-7. But they get rid of Vinny Lettieri, Cole Koepke, Jakob Lauko, Oliver Wahlstrom, Parker Wotherspoon, Ian Mitchell. So nothing crazy there. All of their main guys are still there, but there's not a ton of them. So obviously Pastrnak is their engine. He does everything for them. He had a great season last year considering he had almost no help. 106 points in 82 games is crazy. 63 assists, 43 goals, 23 power play points, 99th percentile in everything except for power play where he's 92nd. So you definitely want to own him in the first round if you have the opportunity to. His whole line with Morgan Geekie was really productive. 57 points in 77 games, 33 goals for Geekie, kind of a coming out party. If he's going to get that line assignment, I would definitely draft him late in your draft because he's going to be top 6. He might get some power play time as well. And he is a pretty decent goal scorer, 96th percentile in terms of goals per game. Elias Lindholm, I'd like to see a little bit more out of. 47 points in 82 games, only 17 goals, 14 power play points, kind of mid. He's in this 65 to 79 range in all of his percentiles, so not really fantasy ownable for any one particular thing. You could potentially go Pavel Zacha. He gets the garden seat every now and then. Similar point total, 47, similar goal total, so pretty similar profiles. I don't particularly like either of them for fantasy. If you wanted to take a swing on a young player who still has some upside left, Casey Middlestat is probably going to be top 6, may get some power play time, 40 points in 81 games last year. If you're looking for hits, you've got Kastelik and you've got Tanner Jeannot now. Kastelik 3.57, Tanner Jeannot 3.15, both big hitters. Outside of that, I mean, maybe Victor Arvidsson if you're looking for shot volume, but he had a down year last year, only 27 points. In terms of their D, I had McAvoy last year. He got hurt, which was disappointing. He's a mediocre hits, blocks, and shots, guys. Think of a Darnell Nurse profile, but a little bit lower in every single category. So this is not necessarily the best option. His power play totals were really bad considering I thought he was going to get more power play usage. 23 points and 50 is not the best either. They will probably get Hampus Lindholm back. They may end up giving him a shot on PP1. I don't know. They did do that when I think it was 2 years ago. They gave him 30, 40 games running power play 1 and he looked pretty good. But the other guy that you could potentially look at is Mason Lohrei, who actually had 16 power play points last year. So if he's the power play 1 guy, he becomes a little bit more fantasy relevant. The blocks are okay for 1.34. Shot volume is very low. Goals almost non-existent, and hits are definitely non-existent. So those are your options up front. But up next, let's take a look at the goaltending. When we look at Swayman, I think this is the perfect setup for a bounce back season. So if you look at his trajectory, he's climbing up the entire time, 61, 67, 73, 79, but all this time he's a backup or a 1B. Then he gets the net and there's some trouble here. So 57, not the best. Team defense was way down compared to what it usually is. It should bounce up. We saw 45.5 percentile this year, which is an improvement. The goals saved above expected, well below at -8. I don't expect that again. Tons of save volume. So he was seeing a lot of rubber. He did have 4 shutouts, 22 wins, 57 games is really what you like to see. He was the starter, 94th percentile in terms of start volume, 94th in total saves. I would expect the save percentage to come up, goals against to come up, and goals saved above expected to come up. If you can get him after the 6th round or something in that range, again, you may not get the wins because Boston is still probably not a great team in terms of like standings points, but in terms of goaltending, they do have a pretty solid decor. They've got a veteran presence back there with McAvoy and Lindholm and Zadorov, and they've got some physical guys with big bodies that can clear out the front of the net. So it's not the worst setup for either of these goalies, really. When we look at Korpisalo, not a lot there to like. Save percentage, 891, 27 games, 10 wins, 3.0 goals against. Below expected, so nothing great there, but he has had a couple of seasons in the last 5 where he was fantasy ownable and he did get a bunch of starts. So if you see, maybe Swayman goes down early in camp, or maybe, he ends up not a contract holdout, but you saw that coming last year, maybe that upset Swayman, which is why he fell off a cliff last year in terms of his goaltending performance. Maybe that doesn't happen this year, but if for whatever reason you see Swayman not in the net, it's not a bad idea to pick up Korpisalo. He has done it in the past. It just wasn't great last year. That's going to do it for this episode of Team Preview. Stay tuned for the next one.